And we'll have a bit of a chat now, and you may have some views on this, about whether you feel there's enough opportunities for youngsters to do music these days, particularly after lockdown. There was a onus really to get the 3 R's up to speed: the reading, the writing and the arithmetic. And so the focus from a lot of schools, and you may have noticed this in your children or young ones in your family, was away from the less traditional subjects, including music. My next guest is someone who is trying to encourage the next generation of musicians by writing a children's book. It is called Perky the Pigeon, and the Essex-based author Jester Arrow joins me now. Hi to you, Jester.
Hi there, Ben. Thanks so much for having me on.
No worries. Tell us a bit about the book first, but I'd like to have a chat about, you're hoping to use the book to get people into music, so I'd like to talk about that as well. But talk to me about how the book came about first.
So, it's obviously not every story has the main character as a pigeon, so I thought that was quite a nice thing to have. And that actually stemmed from my two young boys, Benny and Theo. Both are actually quite big fans of pigeons. So we used to go to the local parks and feed them, particularly in lockdown, as you mentioned, when there really wasn't much else you could do. And we'd take some seeds and we'd feed the pigeons and even get them, to eat the seeds off our hands if I could get them to stay still enough. And we got to know the animals quite well, and also they really enjoyed, learning the different characters of the pigeons. And we made little top trumps as well. We made some top trumps, the game where you make different stats on different birds. So we did pigeons, and we found out lots of facts about them, like they can fly up to 77 miles an hour and things, and that they've been used in wartime efforts. So that was why the character was a pigeon. And then also I used to tell them lots of stories about sort of a variety of animals that they liked. And we made a little band ourselves that we called Blue Pig, where my youngest one used to sort of play drums with felt tips. I'd strum the guitar, and my older one would write lyrics, things like vampires or volcanoes. So we had our own little band. So I sort of combined the two things in this story and wrote about a pigeon that wants to be the lead singer for a band called Perky. And she has to sort of pursue her dream and faces a number of hurdles, but, in the end, makes it by keep going.
Well, you're putting all parents to shame, Jester, I've got to say, because to have that creativity and that imagination and to get your children inspired in that way, kudos, hat tip for that. That's good. That's good. There's good dad points there from one dad to another. You said in your when you contacted us, you said that you wanted to inspire the next generation of musicians. Is that something that's you're passionate about?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I've always played music from when I was a teenager, really, actually, mostly. And I've always found it a really good outlet for sort of, creativity, and also just keeping, your mental health in check. It can really help with, I think, having sort of an outpouring of something that you can create and, sometimes put emotions and feelings into can be really positive. And I do think it does sometimes take a back seat in education and in things that people are sort of encouraged to do. And, I completely get the importance of the 3 R's, as you were talking about before. But I also think it's important to have children and young people express themselves and use things like music, which, to be honest, everybody listens to, and everybody, I think it has a positive effect on everybody. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling happy, everybody likes to put on certain songs, and it can really bring people together and connect them as well. So I think it's important that we encourage young people to keep experimenting and creating things that make them feel good and hopefully can make others feel good too.
Because a lot of schools now, they're almost, I don't know if subcontract is the right word, but they're almost getting groups to come in out of the main hours, almost as if music is becoming an after-school option as opposed to being part of the curriculum. Does that worry you a bit?
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing with it is, it used to be sort of, you'd have regular lessons of music alongside other creative arts as well. And now, like you say, sometimes it can take more of a back seat. And I know at some schools as well, they'll do sort of one term where you might do music, and then another term you might do drama, and, another term you might do, sometimes even PE or something, and they won't always be included as a regular thing. And I think having it as a regular thing, you do anything regularly, that's what makes you better at it and also connect to it. So I think it should be included as something where, you can experiment, once a week at least would be good.
So you've written this book to promote it then and to encourage a bit of musical activity in young people. If anyone wants to find out a bit more about the book or use it as a way to get their children into music, what can they do, Jester?
Yeah, so there's a few things. There's the website, which is perkythepigeon.onlineweb.shop, and that has a bit about the story, there's about how I wrote it, why I wrote it, and then also you can purchase it from there. It's also, there's an Instagram, which is just Perky the Pigeon, and also there's a playlist on Spotify, which has a number of rock songs, and mostly rock songs that sort of link to the book, and there's about 10, 15 songs there, mostly to do with sort of flying, or it included Blur's Park Life as well, because that has the pigeons in the opening.
Oh, it does, yeah.
So, yeah, it was linked back to birds. But, yeah, those are the main things of how you can sort of connect to it and find it.
I'll feed the pigeons, or sometimes feed the sparrows too. Yeah,
yeah, you got it.
So you got it. So when it must be quite the feeling when you come up with this idea, and then you're the author. Then you find someone to illustrate it, and then it works into a book. That must be quite the feeling when the finished article drops. Yeah,
it really was amazing. Just and obviously one thing to be able to give it to my boys as well, who really like pigeons. And then I've gone and done a number of school readings and local sort of community events. And I've got a few others that I'm hoping to be involved with over the summer. So at those events, I've been doing a bit of promo. Sometimes my boys have come and helped me as well. And we've also done this little golden pigeon game where you can, if you find the golden pigeon within a bunch of grey pigeons, you can win a copy of the book. And that's always been popular with the kids.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy that, and I hope Perky gets a headline gig at Glasgow or something in future books. Jester, thanks for joining us this morning.
No, thanks so much for having me, Ben. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. You take care. Jester Arrow has written a children's book to try and get music more on the agenda of young people today. Do you think there is enough opportunities for music? 0800 111 40 41 is the number to call. Welcome your experiences from the children in your life as well.